Judging from the size and shape of the package, I'm sure you guys already know what this is. You guys guessed it, this is the MarineLand 5-gallon portrait tank. I thought about it and I think it's time to add a new betta fish to the family. So I'm gonna be setting up this bad boy from start to finish for our future friend. Let's go. If you guys are longtime followers of the channel, you already know what's included in the box. But we shall do a quick unboxing. Our good old lid, the light, which we actually won't be needing because check out my last video on lighting alternatives for this tank. We're going to be using something else. And now, the main event. The tank. Lastly, the stand. We got the stand. We also have the proprietary cartridge, which we all know we're not going to use that. But we will keep this. We also have the pump as well as the tubing. First, let's gather everything that we need to set up the tank. Bam. So I think this should cover it all. If I do miss anything, I will pre-record it and put it on top as B-roll. So shown here, we have some substrate. I got this from Petco. Usually I use Black Diamond Blasting Sand, but I had this laying around, so I'm gonna use this. We have the lid from the kit, the pump, the filtration, the actual tank. For those of you wondering what it looks like inside, aquascaping tools, as well as scissors. I believe this is water wisteria, Nubis Nana Petite. This torch star LED. Recently did a video on this. I'll link that down below. A pre-filter sponge, which we're gonna use for the nozzle right over here. Command hooks. This is gonna be for the lid. Pillow fill, or quilt batting rather, 100% polyester. And we have our hardscape right here. These have been in an old tank, so they're seeded with bacteria. And we also have some ceramic media that have also been seeded with some bacteria. So these will help get the cycle started going for the tank. Everything that I'm using today will be linked down in the description, so if you want to support the channel, be sure to use those links. First, I need to cut some holes in here to decrease the flow since we are going to put a betta fish in here. I know that even though the pump is adjustable, even at its lowest setting, it's still pretty high for a betta. So one way to alleviate that is to actually cut holes into here. So I only put 2 holes for now. I think that should suffice, especially since we will also be using this to alleviate some of the flow. I could always add more holes later. So, and again, I go way more in depth into the modifications for this specific tank in the video link down below. So make sure you check that out. Since this is all set to go, I'm gonna put it in the tank. Next thing I need to do is add this pre-filter sponge onto this little nozzle right here. Now that I added the pre-filter sponge to this nozzle, it's time to tackle the filtration. We're going to use this more so for mechanical filtration instead of biological filtration. Even though it does have a pretty good surface area, we're going to keep the sponge where it's at. We're going to basically put this into this little compartment right there. And we're going to wrap this around this little spot right here. And boom, we added the quilt batting. So this will act as sort of like a poor man's filter floss. But it definitely gets the job done and it's really cheap. Would recommend. So we take this again, put it in the compartment, and then we add this to the filtration. And boom, our filtration is ready to go. So now onto the fun part. Let's start aquascaping. First, I'm gonna add the substrate into here. So what I'm gonna do next is push it back so that there's a gradual incline. So now on to adding the hardscape. Alright, this is where I landed on. Now it's time to add the actual plants. I'm probably going to cut these up. You see where there is new root growth? I'm going to chop this out, create a new plant of these, And I'm probably gonna put the wisteria, or at least I hope this is wisteria, near the background since it's a taller plant. And then I will get super glue and super glue the Anubias to the rocks in the front. Well, there you have it. I put the plants in. Next up, we have to put on this command strip onto the lid. I'll do that off camera, and we will also use this light. Since I already did a video on this, I will also do this off camera. Now all I need to do is add some water before these plants die out. I will be using Sicc Prime. This is definitely my go-to water conditioner because it accomplishes all the things listed here. I've said this a bunch on the channel, but this is what I'll be using. So I will fill up the tank. And she is filled. Now, one thing I did forget is I actually need to put the heater, is the Sicc heater right here. I use the 50 watt. I love these Sicc heaters. None of them have failed me. I'm using a bunch of them in the different tanks. I have one over here. There's one back here somewhere. And these have yet to fail me. And I love how they're adjustable and you kind of set it and forget it. Number one thing about these, however, is that they do in fact fit back here in the compartment. I tried the Tetra heaters and those were too big to fit back there. So definitely would recommend these. I will again link this down in the description. One last thing that I forgot, make sure you put all your lights on a timer. These have a plethora of different benefits and they just make the hobby a lot easier and they're really cheap, so definitely put your lights on a timer. Well, there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video building the MarineLand 5-gallon portrait tank from start to finish. Now we just have to let it cycle for maybe a few days, few weeks. A lot of the things I put into this tank are already seeded with beneficial bacteria, so I'm pretty sure the cycle will establish relatively quickly. I already have in mind what kind of betta fish I want to get, but I will keep that a secret for now. Stay tuned when we add fish to this tank. If I brought any value to you in this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. It really does help. Again, I will link down everything that I used today in the description, so if you want to support the channel, feel free to use those links. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.